Learning in pairs has long been part of Jewish tradition, from ancient times to the Cheders or religious schools of Europe. And joining me to talk about a modern-day version of that here in Israel is Rabbi Avital Hochstein, who runs the Zug Project, and she's also the president of Hadar here in Israel. Thank you so much for joining me, Avital. Start by telling me a little bit about what is the Zug Project. Zug, of course, in Hebrew means a pair, a couple.
That's correct. Project Zug was actually created by Rabbi Benjamin Ross. Benjamin Ross was a young rabbinic student here in Israel and was learning together with an Israeli colleague of his. And as the year was winding down, he asked himself how to continue such relationships between Israelis and Americans in a substantive way. He realized that substantive relationships are very powerful. And he also realized, as you mentioned, that we had this great age-old tool called Chavruta, which is one-on-one learning of two people. The problem is that if you take two people and you put them in a room and you say, well, have a meaningful conversation, that doesn't really work very well.
Right.
And so he created Project Zug to be a platform for those conversations. Project Zug today grew beyond its founder. It's powered by Panim, which is an Israeli organization. It's the Israeli Network for Israel Judaism, and Mechon Hadar, which is a home for communities that are based on Torah, Avodah, and Chesed, learning, prayer, and love and kindness.
Nice.
And these two foundations house Project Zug.
And how do people get connected one to the other? Is it based on like what they want to learn together in terms of text, or how does it work?
So Project Zug has today close to 30 courses, and people can sign up. They can come with a partner, or they can sign up by themselves and say, here's a little bit about who I am and my background, and here's the type of partner I'm looking for, either from the same community or specifically between Israelis and Americans. The topics are very, very broad. They range from, let's take just classical text, whether it's
Torah,
Talmud, Gemara, and so on, or all kinds of topics. I just created a course on visiting the sick, or we have courses on Shabbat is a new course that we're just creating now. We have a course on Judaism and sexuality. We have a course on spirituality. A really very, very broad range of courses, even one on the lyrics of Leonard Cohen.
Oh, the lyrics, that's a great class.
Yes.
Wow, I want to take that class. And it's in Jerusalem, or it's also in other parts of the country?
Actually, the power is that it's on the internet. And it's supposed to put together pairs that are not necessarily in the same community.
So it's actually like you do Skypes.
It's a virtual course that you take. Most courses have about 10 classes. You get guiding sheets and sources. There are about 4 videos that usually accompany each one of the courses. The big advantage is that you can do it on your own time, together with your chavruta. We will partner you with a chavruta from the other end of the world, or at times whole communities come to us and say, we want a community to learn one course together because we want to strengthen these relationships internally. And it can
within
work
the community.
both ways.
And I'm assuming that it crosses all kind of religious lines, from secular to Orthodox.
Right, so another one of its powers is that it crosses lines not only of denominations, but also people who are not affiliated. This is the way they can have Jewish affiliation. And actually our students also range not only in background and affiliation, but also in age. We have a very broad spectrum of learners.
Interesting. How many young people are involved in this? Because, we're always focused on Jewish continuity, the next generation.
Right, there are definitely young people taking these classes. We have last year we had about 150,
That's okay.
Last year we had about 850 people learn, and we hope to get to 1,000 people learning this year.
Wow.
Yes, from many groups. Maybe I'll tell you a story to kind of give a feel of who this can be. There were 2 communities that wanted to meet together. One was a cluster of communities in the south part of the United States, and the other was actually a cluster of communities here in northern Israel. And we put together 2 groups of artists. they took one of the classes together and at the end had a product that was an art exhibit, which was
Oh,
the
that's
product
so
of
cool.
their
That's
their
so cool.
mutual learning.
Thank you so much, Avital, for joining me. We're going to leave it there. We're going to have to take another break, but don't go anywhere. We have a lot more coming up on the Holy Land Uncovered. Stay with us.